If you value your sleep, don't book this place. And if you ever come to Louisville, Kentucky, stay as far as you can from the massive brick building that sits on the hill above the trees. A structure so heavy, so silent, that even the wind avoids it. This is Waverly Hills Sanatorium, one of the most haunted hospitals in the United States. A place where more than 60,000 people died. A place that smelled of fear and medicine. A place where patients begged to go home, but instead were wheeled into a tunnel from which they never returned. Locals call it the Death Tunnel, a long, cold passage used to secretly transport corpses so living patients wouldn't see. How many people actually died each day? Visitors who enter the tunnel today hear footsteps behind them, whispers echoing from the walls, and something breathing in the dark that never touches the ground. If you survive this episode, like the video so others can find it, and subscribe right now, because the next places we're exploring are even darker. Now, let's go inside Waverly Hills. Chapter 1: The Hill of Death. Before it became a nightmare, Waverly Hills began with hope. Built in 1910 as a tuberculosis hospital, its isolated hilltop location was meant to keep the disease away from the city. But tuberculosis wasn't just a sickness, it was a slow death. Patients coughed up blood for months, their lungs collapsing from the inside. Doctors tried fresh air, sunlight therapy, and experimental treatments that sound more like torture. Collapsing a lung on purpose, inserting balloons inside the chest, removing ribs, surgical procedures done with almost no anesthesia. Most patients never recovered. They were carried out quietly, their bodies hidden from the other patients. So hope wouldn't die completely, but hope died anyway. And soon, Waverly Hills became a place where death was normal, expected, routine. Chapter 2: The Death Tunnel. The most infamous part of Waverly Hills is the long underground tunnel, descending the hill at a steep angle. The official name, the Body Chute, but everyone else calls it the Death Tunnel. It stretches more than 500 feet down, cold concrete walls absorbing every sound. Doctors used it to remove dead bodies and transport supplies during winter storms. But the tunnel has a heartbeat of its own. Investigators report hearing dragging sounds where footsteps echoing from below, voices calling their name, and something rushing past them, even though the air is still. One visitor said she felt a hand brush her hair as she walked alone in the tunnel. When she turned, there was no one there. Another visitor fainted after hearing a male voice whisper, "Don't go any further." Some paranormal teams refuse to enter at all. Whatever is in the death tunnel has waited a long time to be seen again. Chapter 3: The Shadow People. Waverly Hills is infamous for its shadow figures seen in nearly every hallway. Tall, thin silhouettes with long arms and heads that tilt unnaturally. They don't walk, they glide. And when you look directly at them, they freeze. Many visitors report the same experience. A shadow stands at the end of the hall. When you blink, it gets closer and closer and closer until it's right behind you, but completely silent. One investigator said, "I didn't hear it move, but I could feel it breathing on my neck." Thermal cameras capture figures that absorb all heat, pure, cold, pure darkness. Some believe these shadows are the souls of patients whose minds were destroyed by isolation and fear. Others believe there's something older, something that feeds on suffering. Chapter 4: The Children's Ward. Not all ghosts at Waverly Hills are violent, but that doesn't make them less chilling. The Children's Ward is one of the most emotionally heavy places in the building. Young patients were separated from their families for months, sometimes years. They played with the same toys and sat by the same windows, waiting for parents who never arrived. Visitors today report seeing small figures in hospital gowns, toys moving by themselves, balls rolling across the floor, the sound of giggling in empty rooms, cold spots, no matter the temperature. One famous spirit, known as Timmy, is said to push balls across the hallway when visitors roll them toward him. But some investigators believe that children might not be children at all, but something mimicking their behavior to lure visitors deeper into the building. Because sadness attracts the living, but it also attracts the things that wait in the dark. Chapter 5: Room 502. The room you should never enter, Room 502, is the darkest place in Waverly Hills. In 1928, a young nurse was found inside the room, hanging from the light fixture. She was pregnant, unmarried, and believed she would be fired if the hospital found out. 2 years later, another nurse threw herself from the same window and landed on the grass below. Since then, Room 502 has been a center of pure dread. Visitors report overwhelming sadness, nausea, heavy pressure on their chest, the sensation of being pushed, voices whispering, "Jump," and apparitions in nurse uniforms standing near the window. One investigator caught a voice saying, "Get out of here now." Another saw a doctor's silhouette standing in the doorway, but doctors haven't walked here in nearly a century. If you ever visit Waverly Hills, don't go near Room 502. It remembers what happened inside it, and it wants someone new. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is more than a haunted hospital. It is a monument to suffering, a building soaked in the memories of thousands who died alone. If you ever visit Louisville, don't walk the death tunnel. Don't stand in the children's ward after sunset, and never, ever enter Room 502 unless you're ready to feel something you can't explain. If you survived this episode, like the video so others can find it. Subscribe right now so you don't face the next haunting alone, because the next place we're going is darker than all the others. If you value your sleep, don't book this place.